You lie still. Your chest rises and falls in the quiet rhythm of night, each breath a whisper that belongs to no one else but you. The world outside fades, the ticking clock, the humming fridge, the soft creak of old floorboards, all melting into the hush of sleep. And somewhere in that hush, between one thought and the next, something begins to stir. You may not notice it at first. It's like a shimmer behind your closed eyes, a gentle flicker of possibility, as if the world you know is just one layer, and behind it, veiled and waiting, is another. Tonight we draw back that veil together. Science often feels like a sharp-edged tool. Data, graphs, hard truths. But not here, not now. Because even in the strict language of physics there are mysteries as soft as dreams, and none more mysterious than the quantum world. You have heard of atoms, tiny particles that make up everything. Your skin, your blanket, the air in your lungs. But those atoms are not solid marbles. They are dances, they are guesses, they are probabilities wrapped in silence. Imagine a curtain, not made of fabric, but of uncertainty. On one side of the curtain is what you know. On the other is what may be. Every time you breathe, a part of you moves toward the curtain, not to pull it down, but to understand what lies beyond. Because in the quantum world, things don't behave the way you expect them to. A particle can be in more than one place. It can spin left and right at the same time. It can vanish from one side of a wall and appear on the other, as if the wall never mattered. You pause here. You're not confused, only curious, and curiosity is welcome. It is the compass that will guide us. Scientists once believed that everything could be known, that if you looked close enough, asked the right question, you could know exactly where a particle is and where it's going. But the quantum world laughed gently in reply. It said, "Not quite. Because in this world, there are limits to knowing. The closer you look at one thing, the blurrier everything else becomes. And the more you try to measure, the more you disturb. It's like trying to study a candle flame by touching it. Your presence changes it. You may be wondering, how do we even see this quantum world? After all, it's too small for the eyes, too fast for the fingers, and yet it is everywhere. In every breath you take, in the screen you're reading this from, in the warmth that travels through your blanket. And so, to see it, we must imagine. Close your eyes. Picture a calm pond. No ripples, just still water under the moonlight. Now, drop a single pebble. One tiny plunk. In the quantum world, that ripple doesn't just spread. It also reflects your choice to drop it. Your action changes what the pond is. The observer is never just watching. The observer is always part of the story. You breathe that in slowly. Not everything must be distant. Not everything must be detached. You are allowed to be part of the wonder. Because here's the truth. The more we understand the quantum world, the more we realize it is not separate from us. It is us. Every cell in your body, every flicker of a thought, every dream you've ever had, all arise from particles obeying rules that are not rules at all, but tendencies, patterns of maybe. Tonight you are more than just a person in bed. You are a wave of possibility, a field of probabilities gently collapsing into one still, sleeping form. But you are also more, because somewhere out there, perhaps even in this room, the curtain between worlds is thinner than you think. The border between what is and what could be is drawn in soft chalk, easily smudged. And you are the hand that reaches forward. Now let your breath guide you. In, outside, in, outside. You're not rushing. The universe is not in a hurry. Light itself takes its time to cross the cosmos, just so you could have this moment, this hush, this thought, this pause between chapters. You're standing softly at the threshold of quantum wonder, and on the other side of the curtain, a cat is both sleeping and awake. A particle is everywhere and nowhere, and reality waits for your gaze to give it shape. Let your thoughts rest now, not with answers, but with awe, because the universe is not asking you to solve it, only to wonder. You drift a little deeper. Your body, still and warm beneath the blanket, knows it's safe. The night hums around you, a soft cocoon of silence and distant sounds, a ticking clock, the far-off wind. But inside, your mind steps gently into a story, Not a dream, but a thought, the kind that glows quietly in the dark. You've heard of a cat. Not just any cat, Schrödinger's cat. A cat that is both alive and not alive. You pause. The idea feels strange, maybe even a little sad. But this isn't a tale of cruelty. It's a metaphor, a whisper from the edge of understanding. And like all whispers, you must listen softly to hear its truth. Erwin Schrödinger was a physicist who wanted to explain just how strange the quantum world truly is. So, he imagined a box, sealed, silent, unknowable. Inside it, he placed a cat, along with a mechanism that could release poison depending on the behavior of a single, tiny particle. That particle, a quantum particle, might decay, or it might not. No one knows until someone opens the box. Until then, the cat exists in a state of both possibilities, not one or the other, but both, alive and not, breathing and still. Two realities folded into one, waiting for an eye to open the box and make a choice real. You breathe in. Let the strangeness wash over you. This isn't madness. This is the nature of the very small, where particles don't follow the rules of everyday things, where they don't commit to one truth until someone, maybe you, decides to look. This state is called superposition, a place between places, a whisper, between words, a shimmer of maybe in the silence of now, and it isn't just about cats, it's about you, because in every moment your life too holds many versions. Before a decision is made, to speak, to turn left or right, to call someone or stay silent, there are paths that are both open and closed. Your future is both calling and waiting, and like Schrödinger's cat, those futures remain unchosen until they're observed. You feel that now, don't you? The weightless hush between choices, the gentle breath of not yet. It's comforting in a way, the idea that you're never trapped. That possibility stretches softly around you like moonlight on water, that until the moment of choosing, anything might still be. Even as you rest, you are surrounded by quantum maybes. Imagine lying in a field, stars above, and every star is a version of you, playing out another story. One where you laughed a little sooner, one where you took the longer road, one where you paused just long enough to notice the breeze. Superposition is not just about particles, it's about potential. And this chapter is not here to explain Schrödinger's cat in textbook terms. It's here to sit with it, to breathe with it, to hold the idea gently like a sleeping cat in your lap. Because the truth is, the cat is not the point. You are, your awareness, your ability to wonder. That's what turns probabilities into reality. It's not the universe that makes the decision. It's your attention, your gaze, your heartbeat. Tonight, as you drift between wakefulness and sleep, you're also in superposition. Not fully here, not fully gone. You exist in that delicate space where dreams begin and where thoughts still shimmer. And so, the cat becomes a mirror, a reminder that truth can be layered, that certainty can wait, that there's something beautiful about being both this and that, both curious and calm, both awake and nearly dreaming. You don't need to open the box. You don't need to find just one answer, because sometimes the beauty lies in not knowing, in resting inside the possibility. So lie back, feel your chest rise and fall. Let your thoughts be like particles, free to float in all directions. Let yourself be the cat, curled in comfort, untouched by decisions. Because the world, in its deepest places, does not rush to be known. It waits, quietly, for someone just like you, someone willing to listen, to imagine, to rest. And when the box finally opens, when morning comes and eyes blink into light, reality will settle softly into place. But for now, you can drift, suspended, unhurried, both here and somewhere else. Because in this space between breaths, between beats, between lines, you two are in perfect superposition. Tonight the moon is out. Maybe you saw it earlier, a soft disk hanging in the quiet sky, pale and still like it's listening. Or maybe you didn't notice. Maybe you've been inside, wrapped in warmth, eyes drifting shut. But the moon is still there, watching. Or is it? That's the question a man once asked, a physicist named Albert Einstein. And it wasn't just about the moon, it was about everything. He wondered, does the moon exist if no one is looking at it? At first, it sounds silly. Of course it does, you think. The moon is a giant rock in space. It doesn't blink out of existence just because you close the curtains. But in the quantum world, the answer isn't so clear. You've already learned how particles exist in superposition, how they can be in many places at once until someone observes them. This is not a fantasy. It's been tested, watched, measured. And that leads to a strange, gentle truth. Observation changes reality. It's not just that we see things, it's that by seeing them, we define them. A particle's position, its path, its very identity, all shift the moment you look. This is the mystery known as the observer effect. Not magic, not illusion, just the universe, responding to your gaze. So what about the moon? Of course, the moon is big, solid, not a tiny flicker like an electron. But the question lingers, not because the moon will vanish when you sleep, but because it makes you wonder, how much of the world is shaped by what we notice? And what do we miss when we do not look? You feel it now, don't you? That sense of something just behind your awareness, waiting to be known. Not demanding attention, but gently hoping for it. Tonight, you become the observer. Not a scientist in a lab, not a philosopher in debate, just a person, lying still, wondering at the stars behind closed eyes. You imagine the moon again, hanging low, watching the tides rise and fall, its light drifting through your window, brushing your skin. Is it watching you back, or are you the one giving it meaning? Because here's what quantum physics teaches. Reality isn't entirely fixed. It flows with interaction, it listens, it responds. Not always in ways we understand, but always in ways that matter. You breathe that in and out. The air feels a little fuller now, as if it too has been waiting. Observation doesn't mean seeing with eyes alone, it means awareness, attention, care, and what you observe, softly, curiously, becomes more real. So tonight, the moon may not need your gaze to shine, but your awareness makes it more than a rock. It makes it belong. Just as a melody needs a listener to be a song, just as a letter needs a reader to become a message, so too does the world need you to take shape. And in that quiet knowing, something beautiful unfolds. You're not separate from the universe. You are part of the equation, not a spectator, but a participant, not just a dreamer, but a gentle co-creator of reality. So lie here a little longer, feel the weight of your body held by the bed, by gravity, by the spinning earth, the same earth the moon dances around. And know this, every time you wonder, the universe changes. Every time you notice, something soft becomes solid. Every time you care, a part of the world becomes real. The moon will still rise tomorrow, but tonight it glows a little warmer, because you were here to see it, or at least, to wonder if it was watching you too. You turn gently in bed, maybe just a little, a slow shift, a deeper breath, a hand moving across the sheets. The world feels far away now, wrapped in velvet silence. But your thoughts, quiet as they are, continue wandering, and tonight they step into a place with no clear path, a place where every step you might take already exists. In the quantum world, there is no single, certain road. There is only the shimmer of many. This is the world of superposition, a beautiful, mysterious idea that something can be more than one thing at the same time. Not pretend, not imagined, real, measurable, proven. And while it seems impossible, it is also deeply peaceful. Because you too have lived in superposition. You have stood at the edge of a choice. You have felt your heart pull in two directions. You have wondered, quietly, if both could somehow be true. Tonight we walk there together, but not too fast. We begin with a particle, small. So small it doesn't really have a shape. It is a flicker, a possibility. You might imagine it like a whisper on the wind. Not a thing, but a tendency, a leaning, a presence you can feel even if you cannot hold it. This particle does not choose a single path. Instead, it flows through all of them. It travels left and right. It spins up and down. It is here and also there, until, softly, someone looks, and just like that the dance ends. The particle picks one place, one spin, one truth, The others fall away like petals on the breeze. You breathe slowly, sensing the rhythm. There is no fear here, only wonder, because before the moment of observation the particle exists in superposition, a gentle in-between, a both and, a maybe. And maybe that's where you are now too, not asleep, not fully awake, but somewhere in between, somewhere quiet, somewhere safe. You picture yourself standing at a trailhead in the woods. The moonlight filters through leaves, making the forest glow silver and green. Ahead of you, paths stretch in every direction, some narrow, some wide, some winding. None are marked, and for just a moment you're standing on all of them, not running, not choosing, just being. This is superposition. This is what it means to be many things at once. And science tells us this is not just poetry. This is how the universe behaves at its most fundamental level. Electrons don't orbit neatly like planets. They exist as clouds, fields, possibilities. You cannot point and say, "Here it is," without changing it just by pointing. It's as if nature wants to stay uncommitted, open to change, open to being seen in different ways. You feel the softness of that idea now, don't you? The comfort of not having to be just one thing, the gentleness of not needing all the answers, the freedom of existing quietly in between. It may sound strange, even magical, but this is real. We have built machines that rely on it, quantum computers that store information in states that are both 0 and 1 at once. We have performed interference experiments that show particles choosing multiple paths until the moment we interfere. It's been measured, recorded, repeated, and yet, even the scientists admit, they don't fully understand why it works. They simply know it does. So you don't have to solve it either. You only need to feel it, to trust that uncertainty is not the enemy of peace. Sometimes it is peace itself. In this world of softly shifting truths, you don't have to rush toward the future. You don't have to know what tomorrow holds. You can lie here, breathing gently, letting every possibility rest beside you like petals on your pillow. Because the universe is not asking you to choose. Not yet. Tonight, you are the particle. You are the maybe. You are the soft footsteps on every path. Let them echo, gently. One here, one there. Let them fade into each other, like ripples in a still pond. You are not late. You are not wrong. You are not fixed in place. You are beautifully undefined. And when morning comes, when you open your eyes, and the world begins to sharpen, you will make your choice. You will become one version. But not yet. Tonight, you drift through superposition, a quiet, unseen ballet. The curtain has not fallen, the lights have not dimmed, and your story is still being written, one soft footstep at a time. You lie still, not because you must, but because you can. Because stillness, in this moment, is not the absence of movement. It is the fullness of being, a softness wrapping itself around your thoughts, around your body, around your sense of time. You begin to feel something curious now, a sensation not on your skin, but somewhere deeper, as if 1,000 silent versions of you are close by, watching, waiting, not haunting, but humming. Have you ever stood before a mirror and looked beyond the surface, not at your reflection, but through it, past the skin, past the face, into the soft flicker behind your eyes, the you that thinks, wonders, remembers? Now imagine that mirror is infinite. This is where the quantum world invites you. To the edge of the many worlds interpretation, an idea not made of fantasy but of science. A theory that every time a decision is made, every time a possibility collapses into one outcome, other outcomes still continue. Not here, but somewhere. And those other paths, those other yous, still walk their chosen roads, quietly, in the folds of a universe that's far larger than we imagined. You turn softly beneath the blanket. Let the thought settle. What if, somewhere out there, another you is listening to this very same story, but in a slightly different way? What if they paused halfway? What if they're still wide awake? What if they chose something different and a new world opened around them? It's not fantasy, it's quantum theory. And though no one can yet prove that these parallel realities exist, the equations, the math beneath the mystery, whisper that they might. Not hundreds, not thousands, but infinite. Not copies of you, like shadows on glass, but real, full, breathing versions. Each one born from a moment when your path split and another step was taken. You may wonder, why does this matter? Why dream of so many selves? But it matters not because you are many. It matters because you are never alone. Even in your silence, even in your sadness, even in your doubt, there are echoes of you that made it through. There are versions that healed, that loved more deeply, that forgave more quickly, that held on longer, or let go sooner. And when you lie here, wrapped in warmth and wonder, you can almost feel them beside you. Not ghosts, not fictions, but reminders of how wide your being truly is. You are not just the person who made one choice. You are the field of all possibilities. And just as a mirror does not judge the reflection, the universe does not judge the path you chose. It simply holds them all, tenderly, completely, like pages in an infinite book. You sigh, slowly, and the mirror sighs with you. This is not a call to regret. It is not an invitation to wish for something different. It is a moment of deep compassion. Because even now, even in the quiet of this room, you are surrounded by yourself, and every version is trying, every version is learning, every version is made of stardust, breath, and hope. In the quantum world, measurement chooses one path, but the others, some believe, do not vanish. They branch, they bloom. And in the calm logic of that idea, there is something surprisingly gentle. You are not just the product of your past. You are part of a living mirror, one that stretches into forever. So tonight, as you close your eyes, you may feel it. Not the pressure of perfection, not the fear of a single mistake, but the grace of many selves, each walking with you, each reflecting something beautiful. You breathe in that grace now. Let it settle behind your ribs. Let it rest in your chest. Your story is yours, but it is not small. It is not limited to this bed, this breath, this night. It is woven into a universe where every version of you matters, where every step taken, or not taken, adds to the great mirror of what it means to be alive. And when you dream tonight, you may meet one of them, another you, a version with a different memory, a different voice, a different wound that healed in time. You may not speak, but you'll know them, because they are you, reflected, softly, perfectly, like a star glimmering in a pond that knows no surface. You're lying still now, fully relaxed. The weight of your body is no longer something you carry. It is something that carries you, the blanket, the mattress, the earth itself, all holding you gently, as if they've been waiting to catch you. You've drifted far already, across quantum veils and quiet mirrors, but tonight, something even more mysterious calls to you, a connection, not through wires, not through words, but through something deeper, something silent, something that binds. This is the world of entanglement, and it begins with two particles, born together, and perhaps in a beam of light or a burst of energy. These particles spin away from each other. But something strange happens, something impossible. Even as they drift apart across time, across galaxies, they remain connected. What happens to one, happens to the other. Instantly, no signal, no sound, no messenger in between. It is as if they are still one thing, even though they now exist in two places. Einstein himself struggled with this. He called it spooky action at a distance. But it is not a trick, not a flaw, not a glitch in the universe. It is entanglement, one of the most hauntingly beautiful truths science has ever found. You breathe in slowly and begin to feel it. Because this is not just about particles. This is about you. Because what if, deep down, you too are entangled? What if there is someone out there, far or near, whose soul echoes with yours? Someone whose breath you've never felt, but whose silence hums at the same frequency as your own. In the quantum world, distance means nothing. It is not about space. It is about connection. Two particles entangled once can never be truly separate again. They can be moved apart by inches, by miles, by light years, and yet they remain linked in a secret rhythm. You may not know who or what you are entangled with, but perhaps you felt it. A sudden thought of someone far away, and then they call, a memory rising out of nowhere, only to find they were thinking of you too. Science does not yet understand how this happens, but it measures that it does, and that is enough. So tonight, as you lie here, quiet, breathing, soft, you can imagine it. A thread of light, thinner than air, stretching from your heart to someone else's. It doesn't tug, it doesn't bind, it doesn't ask anything of you. It simply exists, quietly. A reminder that separation is not always real, that the universe, in its deepest places, remembers who belongs to who. You picture the particles again, spinning, resting, bound together across the void, and then you feel it in yourself. You're not drifting through the universe alone. You're woven into it. Every breath you take becomes a whisper felt by something or someone else. Not because they are watching, but because they are part of you. Entanglement says, even when we cannot see each other, we're not separate. Even when we're alone, we are still together. Even when you sleep, you are never truly sleeping. Alone, because your being touches others without sound or movement, and theirs touches you. So rest now. You do not need to reach out. You do not need to name what or who you're connected to. The thread will hold, whether you feel it or not. Let it hum softly in the dark. Let it wrap around your thoughts like silk, because you are entangled with this moment, with this breath, with something or someone unseen, but never far. Sleep now, knowing that even in stillness, you are never separate from the song. You're floating now, not through the sky, not through the stars, but through the soft inner space of your mind. A quiet place, a slow place, the kind of place where dreams begin and sometimes end, but not with noise, not with finality, with stillness, with peace. And tonight, we drift into that stillness together, into a moment known in the quantum world as collapse. It's a gentle word, isn't it? Not like something breaking, more like something settling, like a breath you didn't know you were holding, finally released. In the quantum world, we've talked about superposition, how particles can be in many places at once, many states, many possibilities. It is a universe filled with maybe. But at some point, the maybe becomes something. The wave becomes a point. The possibilities become a single truth. And that moment is called wave function collapse. Not destruction, just decision. Imagine a coin spinning in the air. Silver flickers in the light. Heads and tails blur together. It is neither. It is both. But then, the fall, the landing, the touch of ground. And now, it is one. Heads or tails. That's collapse. The quantum wave, once filled with many whispers, quiets into one. Not because something was lost, but because something was chosen. You feel that now, don't you? Not just in science, but in life. You've been there, standing at the edge of a decision, caught in a dozen thoughts. What if I go? What if I stay? What if I speak? What if I don't? In those moments, your mind is like a particle, spinning through potential, and then something settles, a choice is made, and the world shifts, softly, quietly, like a dream collapsing into form. You are here now, lying down, breathing slow, and for a while tonight, your thoughts spun. Perhaps they still do, but somewhere, deep inside, something has begun to rest. A choice you made, even if you didn't feel it, even if it was simply this, to let go, to fall asleep, to trust the night. That too is a kind of collapse, a beautiful one. You're not collapsing in fear, you're collapsing into peace. And maybe that's what quantum collapse really teaches us. That out of all the noise and possibility, there can be clarity, not forced, not pushed, just gently chosen. In labs, scientists measure a particle, and the wave collapses. The particle appears. They cannot predict exactly where it will land. Only the likelihood, only the shape of the maybe, and yet, something always becomes real. So tonight, you don't need to figure out every detail. You don't need to know how every thought ends. Just trust that in time, your dreams will choose their path, just as particles do. just as you have, many times before, and when they do, it won't be a fall. It will be a landing, a soft touch on the earth. Like a leaf floating down from a tree and coming to rest exactly where it was meant to. You can feel it now. A part of you already has. Something has settled. The mind slows. The body melts into the bed. The wave of your day with all its branches and turns has gently collapsed into this quiet moment. This one. This breath. And it is enough. So if your mind wants to keep spinning, let it. It's just the quantum part of you remembering how vast you are. And if your heart wants to settle, let it. It's just the wave collapsing into the version of you that needs rest. You don't have to force anything. The universe never does. It simply observes and lets what is become. So sleep now, not as an ending, but as a settling, a beautiful natural collapse of dreams into sleep, a particle at rest, a wave becoming still, a self floating softly into one peaceful place. The night has deepened. You may not have noticed, but the air is quieter now, like even the stars are holding their breath. The weight of the day has long since drifted off your shoulders. You're floating, not high, but inward, toward the gentle, infinite center of wonder. And there, something unexpected waits, something playful, something quiet. A dice, not a heavy one, not one made for games, but a soft, shimmering cube, the kind only the universe knows how to roll. And tonight, you watch it fall. In quantum physics, much of what happens is probabilistic. That is, it follows patterns, but not certainties. You cannot predict exactly where a single particle will land, or when it will decay, or how it will behave when measured. But you can predict the likelihood, the chance, the shape of the outcome, not the number itself. It's as if the universe rolls its dice not to surprise you, but to remind you that even randomness has rhythm. You breathe that in slowly, because randomness can feel frightening at first. We're taught to seek control, to hold on to the steering wheel, to plan, predict, organize, and know. But in the quantum world, control is an illusion, and yet, so is chaos. Because behind the randomness, there is always structure, always a pattern. The dice may tumble freely, but the table it lands on is steady. You think back to moments in your life when things didn't go the way you expected. A door that closed, a message unanswered, a turn you didn't see coming. At the time, it felt like the dice had rolled against you. But later, sometimes much later, you saw the pattern, the meaning, the hidden rhythm in what felt like chance. Quantum mechanics teaches us that the universe doesn't behave like a script. It behaves like a song. Improvised, yes, but always in key. So tonight, as you drift further into rest, let go of the need to know every outcome. You don't need to guess what number the universe will roll next. You only need to trust the hand that rolls it. A particle appears at a spot on the screen. You repeat the experiment and the spot changes, again and again. The results look scattered, meaningless, but after many trials a shape emerges, a pattern of a light and dark, order from randomness. It is called an interference pattern, the signature of quantum behavior. It tells us, even in uncertainty, something beautiful takes form. And perhaps that is true for you as well. Perhaps the scattered moments of your life, the ones that didn't line up, the ones that seemed misplaced, were never random. They were part of the pattern. They were part of your interference pattern, not interfering like noise, but like waves overlapping to create something more. You're not the result of a single roll. You're the result of many. Soft, silent, sacred rolls, each one shaping the image of who you are becoming. So when things feel uncertain, when life hands you a number you didn't ask for, know this: the dice are not broken. They're just playing a deeper game, one you don't have to win, only witness, only walk through, only rest within. Because the universe does not roll its dice against you, it rolls them with you. Every spin, every scatter, every shift, all part of the quiet unfolding of your becoming. You are not here by accident. You're not resting by chance. You're here because the pattern called for peace, for this moment, for this letting go. So let go. Let the dice roll. Let the outcome fall like feathers, not stones. And trust that even now, Even in sleep, the rhythm continues. Time moves differently here. In this space between thought and sleep, between memory and dream, you begin to notice it. The usual ticking is gone. There are no clocks here, no deadlines, no calendar pages to turn, only moments, stacked softly, layered like clouds, and yet, somehow, they touch each other. This is where the quantum world whispers something strange, something that bends the rules you've always trusted. Time may not be as linear as it seems. You've been taught that time flows forward. 1 second leads to the next, clean and predictable, like a stream. But the deeper you go, into the quantum realm, the more that stream becomes mist. Sometimes events don't happen in the order you expect. Sometimes a particle's future can influence its past. This isn't fantasy. It's not fiction. It's quantum physics. It's been observed in experiments. The strange possibility that time, at its smallest scales, doesn't behave like a road. It behaves more like a web. And the threads of that web, they're entangled. Not just in space, but in time. You breathe in, slowly. You don't need to understand it all. You only need to feel the permission it offers, to let go of the story that says your past is fixed, to loosen the idea that your future is far away, to soften into the moment you're in. Because maybe it's touching all the others too. Maybe the choices you make tomorrow are already humming in you tonight. Maybe the healing you need has already begun, not later. Now, quantum entanglement teaches that two particles can affect each other across great distance. But what if that distance is time, not space? What if your future self, the one who breathes easier, who has learned, who has healed, is already entangled with who you are now? And what if their calm is echoing backward, into this moment, into this breath? You feel it now, don't you? A presence that isn't quite memory, a comfort that isn't quite explanation, just a sense that you are being held, not by someone else, but by another version of you, one that already made it through. You don't have to rush toward them. They're already reaching back. That's the beauty of time when seen through the lens of quantum physics. It is not a fence. It is a bridge, not a race, but a spiral. And here, in the stillness of night, that spiral opens for you. You drift through past and future like waves, not separate but overlapping. You remember a laugh from childhood. You imagine a hope that hasn't happened yet, and both feel equally real. Because they are. In the quantum world, nothing is ever truly gone. Not energy, not information, not even moments. They leave echoes. They entangle with what comes next. And so, this moment, this quiet one you're in, is not small. It is connected. It touches everything. So rest now, not just for the day that has passed, but for the days ahead. You're not behind. You're not late. You are exactly where you need to be, in time. You are still, not because everything has stopped, but because everything important has begun to slow. Your breath moves softly, your limbs have grown quiet, and somewhere inside your attention begins to glow. You're not just asleep, you are aware. And in the quantum world, awareness is not small. It shapes everything. This is the paradox, the magic that science has quietly uncovered. The observer changes what is observed, not by touching, not by speaking, just by noticing. You're familiar with this by now. A particle that lives in superposition, in many places at once, only chooses one, when it's observed. Until then, it floats. Possibility, probability, potential. But the moment you watch, not forcefully, just gently, the wave collapses, and something becomes real. It's as though the universe was waiting for you to care, to pay attention, to look. You lie here and begin to feel it in your own life. Haven't you noticed? The way something changes when you give it your full attention. A conversation becomes deeper. A flower becomes brighter. A thought becomes clearer. You do not change these things by acting. You change them by being present. The same is true in the quantum world. The observer, the one who watches, is never outside the system. They are part of it. And that means you are part of it too. Not a passive listener, not a distant star, but a participant, an artist, holding the brush, even if you didn't know it. Tonight you feel that truth not with your mind, but with your body. Each heartbeat is an observation. Each breath is a collapse. Each blink in the dark makes the world more real. Your presence matters, not because it's loud or grand or fast, but because it's true. Just as particles respond to attention, so do your thoughts, so do your hopes, so do the people around you, seen and unseen. This chapter is not asking you to believe you control the universe. It is asking you to believe that you are connected to it, that your awareness is not a spectator in the theatre of life. It is part of the stage itself. Your heartbeat is a metronome the world listens to quietly in the background. So breathe with that in mind. Feel the warmth behind your ribs, the pulse beneath your fingers, the way your chest rises and falls with ease. You're not measuring anything now. You're simply noticing. And even that is powerful. Because when you truly notice something, it becomes sacred. When you give your attention to the present, the moment deepens. And when you give it to yourself, something inside settles. You're not just here to look. You're here to see, to feel, to matter. Science tells us that the observer changes reality, but perhaps the deeper truth is this: reality changes the observer too. You have felt it, haven't you? A moment so beautiful it rewrote you, a silence so deep it healed something, a stillness that felt like home. Tonight, this is that moment. This is your stillness. This is the hush that doesn't ask you to fix or explain or rush. It only asks you to notice, to feel the beat of your own heart, steady, ancient, entangled with everything, and to trust that this quiet attention you offer to the universe is the same attention it has always offered to you. There is a question resting inside you, not loud, not urgent, just quietly pulsing beneath your breath. Do I need to understand everything? To be okay? And tonight, the universe leans in with a soft, almost smiling answer. No, you don't. Because in the deepest corners of physics, even the universe itself lets something stay unknowable. This is where we meet Heisenberg. Not with force, not with fear, but with kindness, with uncertainty. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle is one of the most profound and gentle truths in quantum mechanics. It says this: there are some things you can never fully know at the same time. You can know where a particle is, or you can know how fast it's going, but not both. The more precisely you measure one, the blurrier the other becomes. It's not a flaw in the tools, it's not a limit of our technology, it's a limit woven into the very fabric of reality. And somehow, that's comforting, because it means uncertainty is not a mistake, it is a design. You breathe a little easier now, because maybe, just maybe, the parts of your life that feel unclear, the feelings you can't name, the paths you haven't chosen, the questions without answers, they aren't wrong, they're simply part of the pattern, part of the plan, part of the wave you're still riding. You do not need to know everything about where you are, and everything about where you're going, at the same time. You're allowed to live with some mystery, like stargazing through fog, like listening to music without knowing the lyrics, and still feeling everything. Heisenberg teaches that it's okay to let some truth stay soft, that chasing perfect clarity may mean losing something else. So tonight, you let go of the chase. You trade certainty for trust, control for curiosity, and in return, you receive something better. Peace. Not the kind built on answers, but the kind built on rest, because your body knows how to sleep, even without understanding how dreams work. Your heart knows how to beat, even without knowing why it began, and the universe continues to spin, even when no one is watching. So let yourself rest in that. Let uncertainty be a cradle, not a cliff. Let it rock you, not shake you. Let it hold you, not haunt you. Because sometimes, the fog is exactly where you need to be. It means you're on a path still forming, a future still unfolding, a self still becoming. You're allowed to rest before you know. You're allowed to breathe before you arrive. You're allowed to feel before you explain. And as you lie here now, in this gentle dark, the uncertainty doesn't feel like fear anymore. It feels like freedom. So sleep. Not in spite of the unknown, but because of it. Because uncertainty means the story isn't over. It means there's still room for beauty, still space for change, still time for whatever comes next. You are floating again, not upward, not outward, but sideways. It's a gentle feeling, like being carried by a breeze you didn't notice until now, as if the world beneath you hasn't disappeared. It's simply moved over, making room for something else. And in that space beside your breath, there is another version of you, the same, but different. This is the doorway to one of the most poetic ideas in quantum physics, the many worlds interpretation. It begins with a question. When a quantum particle exists in many states, and we observe it, only one becomes real in our world. But what happens to the others? Where do the unchosen possibilities go? Some scientists believe they don't vanish. Instead, they branch off, each one forming its own quiet universe. And in those universes, the other outcomes live on, not metaphorically, but literally. Somewhere, you turned left instead of right. Somewhere, you said yes instead of no. Somewhere, you stayed. Somewhere, you left. And all those choices, all those yous, are still walking, breathing, dreaming, in parallel worlds, not science fiction, science. You breathe slowly now. Because this is not about regret, it's about expansion. It's about letting go of the idea that reality is narrow, that you only get one shot, one path, one way to exist. Because the universe is generous. It holds every version of you, the bold one, the quiet one, the grieving one, the healed one. They are not ghosts. They are not shadows. They are simply you, in other branches of the tree. And just like branches, they may stretch in different directions, but they share the same root, the same beginning, the same heartbeat. Tonight, you feel it. Not like a memory, but like a hum. A soft awareness that more of you exist than you can see. That your life is not a single thread, pulled tight and thin. It is a fabric, woven from moments you remember, and moments you almost lived. And those almosts are not gone. They drift, they continue, they bloom quietly in other fields. You imagine yourself sitting beneath a tree now. Its branches stretch overhead, thick and tangled, golden in the moonlight. Each limb is a version of you, each leaf a moment. And though you rest in just one, in this branch, this breath, you can still feel the others. You don't need to climb them. You don't need to chase them. You only need to know they're there. That the choices you didn't make were not mistakes. They were seeds. And some of those seeds found other soil. That is the comfort of many worlds. No version of you is lost. And even the parts of yourself that feel left behind, they might be flourishing elsewhere. You smile softly now, not with pride, but with peace. Because the pressure is gone. You don't have to be everything here. You don't have to carry every dream at once. You only have to be the version of you that is true tonight. And let the others drift. Let them live. Let them love and stumble and rise and rest, just as you are doing now. In the many worlds view, reality does not delete paths. It expands them. It says yes to everything, and somehow that makes this one, this small, quiet version of your life, even more precious. Because out of infinite branches, this is the one you're resting on tonight. This is the you who paused, who listened, who let the universe hold them for a while. And in doing so, you became part of the story, part of the tree, part of the drift. So sleep now, not as an escape, but as a joining, a returning, to all the possible versions of you who are resting too. In all the quiet corners of all the possible skies, you're lying still, but somewhere inside you, there's a sense of movement, not like walking, not like running, more like passing through. A soft slide, a drift, like fog moving over a hill, or light slipping through curtains before morning. You feel it now, a closeness to something that once felt far. And tonight, that feeling has a name, quantum tunneling. It is one of the strangest and most beautiful truths in the quantum world. A truth that says, barriers are not always barriers. In the world of large things, people, planets, bricks, and walls, solid means solid. If something stands in your way, you must go over it, around it, break it down. But in the quantum world, particles do something else. They pass through. Even when there isn't enough energy. Even when, by every classical rule, they shouldn't. They simply appear on the other side, not by smashing, not by pushing, by tunneling, as if the wall was never truly there. You pause, and your breath slows, because this isn't just physics, it's a kind of hope, a softness at the heart of what seems impossible. You begin to think of the walls in your own life, the decisions that felt too hard, the pain that seemed unmovable, the doubts you couldn't climb, the fear that built itself like a fortress around your heart. But quantum tunneling tells a quieter story. Sometimes you don't have to break the wall. Sometimes you simply pass through it, bit by bit, breath by breath, like a thought gently dissolving, like a seed finding light beneath a stone. Particles do it all the time. They face barriers too steep, too strong, and yet they slip through, as if space itself has whispered, "Go ahead." You feel it now, not as theory, but as truth. Not everything you thought was impossible is. Some things only need your stillness, your patience, your willingness to believe that even when progress feels invisible, it may already be happening. Because tunneling is not loud, it is not dramatic, it does not crash or shout. It happens in silence, subtle, persistent, and then, one day, you are simply on the other side. You remember less about the wall, and more about the relief of passing through. You might even smile now, because something in your own life, something you once thought unmovable, may already be softening. Right now, in this moment, without force, without fear, just because you're willing to rest against it. To believe that some doors don't need keys, they only need time. So sleep now with that image in your heart, you as a wave, you passing through, you becoming unstuck. Because even the smallest particle, even the quietest version of you knows how to tunnel toward the light. And maybe that's what you're doing now, without even trying. You feel still now. Your body is heavy but not weighed down, more like anchored, gently moored in a sea of softness. The quiet wraps around you, deep and familiar, like the inside of a seashell. But deep within this stillness, something moves, something small, something constant, and tonight, we listen to that quiet rhythm. In the quantum world, particles have a property called spin, not spinning like a top you can hold, not spinning like wheels on a road. It's more mysterious than that, a kind of built-in motion, a direction, a momentum, an identity. Even when the particle is at rest, it spins. Even when it's nowhere near anything else, it spins. This isn't motion through space. It's a quality, an essence, a reminder that even in silence, even in stillness, there is movement. And that's where you are now, lying still. But inside, something turns. Your thoughts may be quiet, but they're still circling. Your heart may be steady, but it pulses with rhythm. Your breath may be soft, but it flows like a tide. You too have spin, not always visible, not always measured, but always present. This spin is the story you carry, the way you navigate the world even when you don't move an inch. It's your intuition, your timing, your truth. You may feel quiet tonight. You may feel like you've stopped, but you haven't. You're spinning inward, not like a storm, but like a planet. Graceful, predictable, balanced. In quantum physics, the spin of a particle helps define what it is, whether it can join others, whether it builds something larger, and you feel that now too, your rhythm, your pace, your belonging. You may not move like others, you may not speak like others, but your spin, your inner motion, is no less real. In fact, it is the part of you that stays, even when everything else changes, so you rest now, not in stillness without life, but in the spin beneath the stillness, a quiet hum beneath your ribs, a circle that does not end, a spiral that carries you gently into rest. Let yourself feel it, not as motion, but as comfort, as identity, as music only you can hear. Because spin is not chaos, it's order. Even the smallest pieces of the universe know how to keep time, and so do you. So sleep now. You're spinning just enough, no more, no less, just the right rhythm to carry you through the night. Imagine if time slowed down, not just seconds ticking longer, but the space inside each second expanding. Like air in your lungs stretching a little deeper, like a single drop of water taking a full minute to fall. Tonight, you move into that space, into super slow motion. It begins not with the world changing, but with you. You lie still, you breathe slowly, and everything around you begins to soften, as if the air itself is stretching time, giving each moment more room to be. This is not a trick, this is physics. In the quantum world, there are states where time doesn't behave the way we expect, where particles seem to pause, where motion becomes rhythm, where decisions take shape not in a blink but in a breath that lasts forever. When we slow things down, really slow them, we begin to see things that were always there, but hidden in the rush. A choice, hiding in a glance, a memory, resting beneath a heartbeat, a meaning curled inside a silence. In super slow motion, the fabric of reality reveals its texture. Because speed blurs things, it blends and compresses, but slowness opens. It lets the world unfold like a flower, petal by petal. So you lie here, not doing anything special, but you are doing something rare. You're slowing down enough to notice, enough to feel what happens when each breath becomes a universe. You picture a single particle now, floating in still air. Its motion is so quiet, so subtle, that without slowing time a millionfold, we'd never see it shift. But when we stretch time, we see it choose, we see it curve, we see it lean into the future. And maybe you're the same. Maybe what looked like hesitation was always grace. What looked like stillness was always choice. You are not slow. You are intentional. In fact, the slower you move, the clearer everything becomes. Because the universe, at its most foundational level, doesn't rush. Light moves fast, but the quantum decisions behind it, they unfold in quiet, in probabilities, in patience. Even photons, the fastest things we know, wait to be measured. They wait to be seen. They wait to be part of the story, just like you. You may not know where you're going yet. You may still be deciding what version of yourself to step into next. But tonight, you give yourself permission to wait, to breathe, to be in motion that doesn't need to be seen to be real. Slow motion doesn't mean frozen. It means deep. It means you're diving beneath the surface of thought, beneath the surface of reaction, into the part of you that listens before speaking, that feels before understanding, that knows before it explains. You feel it now, don't you? How each second stretches, how sleep is not something you fall into, but something you arrive inside, gently, naturally, as if your whole body were moving at the speed of starlight, stretched across 1 billion years, the same way ancient photons left a distant star, unsure of where they'd land, and tonight they land in your eyes. That is what slowness offers: arrival, presence, a moment that takes its time becoming real. So rest here. You don't need to catch up. You're not behind. You're in the rhythm of something older than clocks, older than plans, older than language, the rhythm of becoming, the rhythm of atoms choosing where to be, the rhythm of sleep not as an escape, but as a return. You're not rushing to sleep. You're slipping into it, like a feather falling in molasses, like a thought becoming a dream, like a breath becoming a star. You're deeper now, not deeper in sleep exactly, but deeper in surrender. The part of you that needed to stay alert has gone quiet. The part of you that wanted to explain is no longer speaking, and what remains is this: silence, not emptiness, not nothingness, just the quiet that comes after a long question has finally been set down. Tonight, you enter the place where certainty dies, and it doesn't die with a bang. It doesn't crumble or crash. It simply lets go, like an old leaf loosening from its branch, like a wave slipping back into the sea. You've spent much of your life chasing answers. We all do. We ask, what's next? What's right? What's real? We search for signs, for patterns, for meanings that stick. But the deeper science looks, especially into the quantum world, the more it reveals something unexpected. Certainty isn't part of the design. The closer we try to measure something, position, energy, momentum, the more that certainty dissolves, not because we're doing it wrong, but because the universe never promised clarity, it promised possibility. And when we demand black and white, it gently offers grey, not to confuse us, but to calm us. Because maybe certainty isn't what we need. Maybe peace doesn't come from knowing every answer, but from releasing the need to know. You feel that now, don't you? How quiet it is without the need to be sure. How restful it is when you stop turning questions over and over in your mind, looking for the perfect shape. Because what if the answers aren't hidden? What if they're simply not finished yet? Or not meant to arrive all at once? Quantum physics doesn't give us clean stories. It gives us probabilities. It gives us clouds of possibility, not dots of definition. And you're not a fixed point. You are a cloud too, a breath of becoming, a field of maybe. And that is not a flaw. That is your freedom. Tonight, you don't need to be sure. You don't need to be right. You don't need to label this moment or this feeling or this version of yourself. You can simply let it exist, unresolved, unrushed, unworried. The death of certainty is not the end of meaning. It is the beginning of trust. And here, in this final hush before dreams fully bloom, you begin to feel it. That trust is quieter than faith, softer than belief, lighter than proof. It is the gentle breath that says, I don't know, and that's okay. So sleep now, without needing to know what tomorrow brings. Sleep without defining the path. Sleep without solving the puzzle. Because when certainty dies, peace begins. You are here, not just in a bed, not just in the dark, but in a field that stretches beyond the borders of skin and thought. A quiet, radiant space that holds everything you are, and everything you've touched, loved, wondered, and let go. Tonight we return home to it, not to your body, but to your mind, and not the mind made of thoughts, but the mind made of possibility. Quantum physics doesn't only study particles, it studies fields, invisible frameworks that fill space. Even in what seems like emptiness, these fields are alive. They vibrate, they shift, they give rise to all that is. Particles, in this view, are not objects. They are excitations of a field. Tiny ripples in an endless sea, and so are you. Not a solid thing, separate and fixed, but a shimmering ripple in a larger field. Your thoughts, ripples, your memories, ripples, your dreams, even now as they begin to form behind your eyes, ripples, and your mind, your deepest, truest mind, is not a box. It is a quantum field, endless, software expansive. It doesn't store truths, it holds potential. You feel that now. In the quiet of this final chapter, you're not trying to be anything. You're simply becoming. Not forward, not backward, just here. Now expanding and settling all at once. When scientists speak of quantum fields, they say they are everywhere, even in vacuum, even in stillness, even in sleep. That means the field of you never stops being present. It never vanishes, even when you forget, even when you break, even when you sleep. You're still here, vibrating quietly in the background of the universe, and what you carry in that field, your attention, your kindness, your wonder, it leaves a signature, a resonance, something soft but lasting. The quantum world teaches us that information is never lost. Even when particles fall into black holes, their information somehow is preserved. So what does that mean for you? It means that nothing is wasted. No feeling, no effort, no moment of stillness like this one. Your mind is not just a machine firing thoughts. It is a place where possibility takes shape. And when you dream tonight, you won't just be playing with memory. You'll be weaving new fields, stretching your awareness into places you've never been, and yet have always known. You've floated through superposition, entanglement, time, and tunneling. And now, you arrive, not at an end, but at a realization. You're not separate from the mysteries you've explored. You are the mystery. You are the particle and the wave, the observer and the observed, the question and the stillness. You are a quantum field, and that means you are infinite. So breathe. Let your chest rise and fall like the gentle pulse of the universe. Let your thoughts drift, no longer needing form. Let your body rest, knowing that its rhythm belongs to something much, much larger. You're not alone. You're not unfinished. You're not wrong for not knowing. You're the soft pulse of a field that was always meant to be here. And tonight, as you sleep, that field remains, calm, open, infinite, and yours.